Jamuna tira vanachari Jamuna tira vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Vijana Vallabha Girvardhari Yasoda Nandana Brajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Jaya Radha Madhava Rajhe Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Thank you. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming to class. Unfortunately, Diro couldn't be speaking today, so he asked me to give the talk today. But yeah. Anyways, he asked me if I could give class, so I'll be giving class today. Today we'll be going over Srimad Bhagavatam, fourth canto, chapter 23, entitled Maharaj Prithu's Going Back Home, and we'll be going over verse 33 today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nasta Praesva Bhadrisu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyutam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistaki. Alright. Trikritvaidam Kanya Naro Naryata Varta Apraja Supraja Tamo Nirano Dhanavatamaha Trikritvaidam Kanya Naro Naryata Varta Apraja Suprajatamo Nidano Dhanavatama Trikritvaidam Karnya Naro Naryata Varta Apraja Suprajatamo Nidhano Dhanavatama. Bolo.
Trikritvaidam Akanya
Trikritvaidam Akanya Narunayata Vadita Apraja Suprajatamo Nirhano Dhanavatama
Trikritvaidam
Akanya Narunayata Vadita Apraja Suprajatamo Nirhano Dhanavatama Trikritvaidam Akanya Narunayata Vadita Apraja Suprajatamo Nirhano Dhanavatama Trikritvaidam Akanya Narunayata Vadita Apraja Suprajatamo Nirhano Dhanavatama. Alright. Synonyms. Trihi, thrice. Kritva, repeating. Iram, this. Akanya, hearing. Naraha, man. Nari, woman. Athava, or adarta, in great respect. Aprajaha, one who has no children. Subrajatamaha, surrounded by many children. Nirdahanaha, without any money. Hanavat, rich. Tamaha, the greatest. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Prabhupada Ki. It does not matter whether one is a man or woman. Anyone who, with great respect, hears this narration of Maharaja Prithu will become the father of many children if he is without children, and will become the richest of men if he is without money. Please repeat after me. It does not matter whether one is a woman, whether one is a man or a woman. Anyone who, with great respect, hears this narration of Maharaj Prithu will become the father of many children. If he is without children, and will become the richest of men if he is without money. Interesting.
Which makes more sense because the first sentence is matter of your man or woman.
Alrighty, purport. Materialistic persons who are very fond of money and great families worship different demigods to attain their desires, especially goddess Durga, Lord Shiva, and Lord Brahma. Such materialistic persons are called Shriyashwarya Prajapsava. Sri means beauty. Aishwarya means riches. Praja means children. And Ipsava means desiring. As described in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, one has to worship various demigods for different types of benedictions. However, here is indicated that simply by hearing of the life and character of Maharaja Prithu, one can have both riches and children in enormous quantities. One simply has to read and understand the history, the life and activities of Prithu Maharaj. It is advised that one read them at least 3 times. Those who are materially afflicted will so benefit by hearing of the Supreme Lord and His devotees that they need not go to any demigod. The word Subrajatamaha, surrounded by many children, is very significant in this verse. For one may have many children, but may not have any qualified children. Here, however, it is said Subrajatamaha, that all the children thus obtained would be qualified in education, wealth, beauty, and strength. Everything completes. Om Gyanadhamarandhasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksu Ummilitam Yena Tasma Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gdabhayam Dadati Swavarantigam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindha Dinabandha Jagapate Gopisa Gopaka Kanta Rarakanta Namostate Tatta Kanchana Ghorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sotidevi Pranamami Hari Pre Vancha Kalpatarubhyasta Kripa Sindhavya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nevisesh Sonyavar Satya Satarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So yet again we have another verse about benedictions. Something really special that we get even though we don't strive for it. Krishna is always trying to give us so many benedictions. As Lolita says, well, we've had this conversation a few times before. You know, there's so many offenses that we can make, so many subtle offenses, because there's so many, and it's hard to follow them, especially in this age of Kali, where we're so forgetful. But there's so many of these verses as well, which counteract a lot of those types of offenses or struggles that we may encounter within our life. So how merciful Krishna is in doing this. So one of the biggest focuses within this purport is about demigods. So I read through and I whipped up some stuff last minute because I was just asked this morning to give this class. So if it's a little short, we'll probably just open up for discussion like yesterday. But anyways, one of the things that is mentioned is how it is common, or I'll just read the purport part right here. Materialistic persons who are very fond of money and great families worship different demigods to attain their desires, especially Goddess Durga, Lord Shiva, and Lord Brahma. So a lot of people who are materialistic in mind, they go to demigods because demigods are often known to be the ones that give you material benedictions easily and quickly. You don't have to do a crazy amount to please them all the time, and often they'll give you a nice material benediction. So in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 20, it is said that those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto the demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature. So within the Vedic system, there is what's the word I'm looking for? There's like this allowance for people who want to materialistically enjoy their life to go about it in a pious way. So there, you want to have nice children, a beautiful wife. You want to have a good kingdom. All these different things people may be after. There's instructions on how to accomplish this within the Vedas. And there's certain regulations you have to go about it. Now, within this age, it's not so practical because for a lot of it, especially when it comes to sacrifices, it comes to saying the mantras correctly. You got to have all these different offerings, which is very difficult to come by and be able to perform correctly if you even try to go about this in Kali Yuga. And it is split into different modes of nature, the different gunas. So you got and the mode of goodness. And accordingly, there's different ways and different demigods in those modes. So a common thing that we also see is the Vedic system is also split in these three modes. There's scriptures in the mode of goodness, scriptures in the mode of passion, and scriptures in the mode of ignorance. Often this is categorized as those who follow Lord Vishnu in the mode of pure goodness, those in the mode of passion, generally they worship Durga Devi or Shakti, and then mode of ignorance, people generally worship Lord Shiva. So all this is for those people who they can't necessarily always just follow purely. That's not practical. Most people aren't going to be able to, or I shouldn't say most people, but there are many people that won't be able to follow exactly all the rules and regulations. So, and they won't want to, and they don't want to follow God or anything specific like this. They want to go after someone else for benedictions and such. So the Vedic system has granted that people with this type of mindset, they can approach the scripture and personality within those modes. That way, in time, they slowly elevate themselves up to Shuddha Sattva, the pure mode of goodness, above the platform of material goodness. So further on, the next verse, 721, states, I'm in everyone's heart as a super soul. As soon as one desires to worship the demigods, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to some particular deity. So Krishna is so merciful that he fulfills all your desires. If you want to worship or follow a certain practice, he'll give you the full strength and knowledge to be able to do so. Because ultimately, he loves us in such a way that he wants to do everything for us. Even if it means that we forget him, even if it means we push him aside or this or that, he gives you whatever it is you desire. He is always trying to fulfill your desires at every moment, even desires you don't outwardly speak of. He tries to fulfill them. So naturally, if one wants to follow one of these paths, he'll give you the process and the knowledge and maybe even someone to show you how to go about that path. And a few verses back, wait, no. We'll go to the next one. No. We'll just go with how I have it. Okay. So in verse 19, Krishna says that after many births and deaths, he was actually acknowledged surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes, and that all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So it takes time for most of us to come to surrendering to God directly. We want to surrender to so many things. We want to surrender to a demigod, or we want to surrender to our own family or our own senses. We're constantly trying to surrender to so many other things besides God himself. So oftentimes it'll take millions and trillions of lifetimes till we finally have understood the object of our worship, the object of our love. Because we're out here always trying to go after what's quick and easy, what satisfies us, what satisfies the flesh, as is commonly said. So this is very powerful, this wanting to satisfy ourselves, one of our six senses, even if it's just the mind, we want to satisfy ourselves in one way or another. So it's really hard for many people to be able to come to God in a quick way. So whatever spiritual knowledge that we come across in our lifetimes never goes away. So over time, it slowly keeps building up. You pick up where you left off, and eventually you realize, oh yeah, Krishna, it was you I was after this whole time. How could I have been so silly? So in the purport to Bhagavad Gita 7.22, one thing that Prabhupada mentions is that a living entity goes to demigods usually because he is mad to fulfill his lust. This happens when something undue is desired by the living entity and Lord himself does not fulfill the desire. So, Krishna goes about his own way. You may ask for some things, but he may either delay it or outright reject what you say at that point in time. Especially if you're sincerely transferring to Krishna, then whatever fruit of activities you're trying to go about, the fruit of results and all that, you might not always get, because he's trying to formulate things in such a way that you come to the stage of pure loving devotional service. So oftentimes people just go to demigods so that they don't have to go through all that, and that way they get their desires instantaneously. And in verse 23, men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. So again, here we see that ultimately Krishna says this isn't the smartest path because it's all temporary. You may get the best material benedictions. You may have everything you could desire within this one lifetime. You could have a beautiful wife, beautiful family, big house with the white picket fence, by the sea, all these things. And wow, how wonderful. You got a lot of money, you got a lot of friends, you got a lot of sense gratification in various ways. But then death comes and all that's gone. You can't take any of that with you. And you got to restart all over. It's like if you're playing a video game and you forget to press save, you're like over here, you build up this character and you keep building them up. Maybe you're like even building this nice house or whatever, and then your brother comes and unplugs it, and all of a sudden it's all gone. You have to restart all over. All that endeavor, all that hard work, all that stress, all those endeavors that you strive for that whole time, gone. So what is it worth? But Krishna is different. Whatever he benedicts you spiritually will always be there with you. Because his fruits are eternal. And even if you go to the planet of the demigods, you live there, you're young, you live long time, there's not so much bad things happening up there and all that. Same thing, death. It's inevitable. You may go up to the planets of the demigods, but death comes and you have to fall back down again and go through everything again, because this isn't our home. We're not from this material world. You could be anywhere within the three worlds, but you'll never be satisfied. Even if you think you have everything you could desire, there's still going to be that empty space in your heart, that empty Krishna-shaped space in your heart. Because this isn't our home. Everything's temporary here. We're a spiritual being that has fallen here. And we're striving to play God. This is our whole goal, is wanting to play God. You come here, you want to be like God. Krishna gives you that facility. He lets you even forget about him, which is so hard because we've been with him for eternity and we come directly from him and our love is for him. So in order to do that, he has to have his agent Maya be able to help us forget about him. That's how merciful he is. It may not seem like mercy, but because we want to live from him, we want to forget him, he's given that facility. So here we are in the material world, searching for him and everything. We're maybe taking intoxication. Maybe we're trying to find satisfaction through the company of another partner. Maybe we're finding this satisfaction in money or any gains. But even when we have these things, we're never satisfied. We just want more and more. But Krishna is known as Rama, the reservoir of all pleasure. But we're seeking that reservoir of all pleasure and the droplets that emanate from that reservoir. A little drop. We're in this desert, literally in Arizona, but we're in the desert of the material existence, burning fire of material existence. It's so thirsty, and all we're trying to get satisfied with is one drop of water of satisfaction. And we're like, that will satisfy us. But no, naturally we want more and more and more. And no matter how much you have, this lust does not go away because it's not Krishna. Krishna is the reservoir of this pleasure, and he's where all this stems from. So why can't we necessarily see him or experience him, besides the fact that there's Maya and all this? 725 of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Naham bhakasa sarvasya yoga maya samavritaha mudo yam navajanati loko mamajam avyayam. I'm never manifested with force and intelligent. For them, I'm covered by my internal potency. And so the deluded world knows me not, who am unborn and infallible. So we're being foolish and unintelligent. Krishna has given us the scriptures, he's given us guides, he's given us several opportunities to notice him. We have so much evidence of God, but we won't admit to it. What's the best way to hide a secret? Is to have it right open in front of everybody. Because then it's unseen. Even though it's seen, it's unseen. And Krishna is just like that. He's the biggest secret. And he's right in front of you, but you don't know. Look at how we have cyclical cycles. The sun rises and sets around the same times every day. We know it's about a 24-hour period in one day. We know that we have 4 seasons. We know that 1 year is like 365 days. We know that the human DNA is more complex than, or I should just say DNA in general is more complex than any computer system. We see so many miracles in front of us. A huge tree like this one outside of the temple has grown from a tiny little seed. And within that seed exists thousands of trees, because once that tree is born, thousands of more seeds are there. There's so much evidence of this. You can try to put together and create your own, let's say like a robot, but this robot won't make more robots out of itself. But you get 2 species together, plants or animals, and they will produce, and then that one will produce. It keeps producing. What a miracle these things are. God is right in front of you, but you don't notice. He's right in front of your eyes. So why Krishna? Why not just any God? Well, it's not bona fide. There is only one God, and Krishna admits to this. But not just Krishna. Lord Brahma admits to this. Lord Shiva admits to this. Great authorities like Vyasadeva admits to this. So many authorities admit to Krishna is God. Krishna. Who else but Krishna? After you read the Bhagavad Gita, he explains his position so in depth. As the Supreme Lord of all that be, everything emanates from him. He is, everything comes from him, and everything we see, hear, touch, smell is ultimately him. There is nothing but Krishna around you. Krishna is within every single atom. But still, why don't people come to him? Why do they keep going to the demigods? Why don't they just go to God directly? We've been talking about this for a lot of this class, but what more about it? Well, his name is Hari. Now, Hari basically means he who takes away. And that scares a lot of people because I got a lot of things and I want a lot of things, and you're going to take them away from me. What can you hold within your two hands that he can take away with his four hands? But Hari doesn't necessarily just mean take away everything. In one sense it does, but Hari also means he who steals away the distress of his devotees and ultimately steals their minds by his excellent transcendental qualities. So Krishna, he has the ability to take away all your suffering. A demigod cannot give you eternal life. He cannot give you such high benedictions or liberation, or to be the supreme being. You cannot become God. But Krishna, he can give you so much. He can give you anything you want. But he's the only one that can give you the supreme bliss, supreme life, and supreme knowledge. He's the only one. And he's the only one that can ultimately take away all your distresses and still your mind and your heart. So, along the lines of this name, Hari, in the sense of him taking away things, there's this verse that I often contemplate. And Hiro had brought this up in one of his classes a long while back, but I always remember this one because it seemed like a beautiful verse that I resonated with. And I feel like many resonate with. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 88, verse 8. The person of God had said, if I especially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. Then the relatives and friends of such a poverty-stricken man abandon him. This way he suffers one distress after another. Now this may seem really dark and bad, but no, this is him taking away all our strings that are tying us up to Maya, the strings of the material world. If you got a lot of wealth, generally you're not suffering so much because you have the facility to buy a nice house. If you're sick, you can get a nice doctor, nice medicine. You can have all these facilities. And if you have an amazing family, not talking God, Krishna conscious family for this instance, but just say you have a great family, you know, your family supports you with this or that. They like get you all these things. They're constantly giving you stuff and you have a lot of affection for them, which affection is good, but it can also make you attached to them, too attached. Attachment is different than love in one sense, but it's not at the same time. Our attachment should be for Krishna, but when our attachment comes to other things, it becomes a tripping stone, a stumbling stone. If you love a flower, but you pick it and you don't give it to Krishna, you just pick it, that flower is just going to die. And you can no longer enjoy that flower. In the same way, if we are attached to anything that we have in our possession within this world, and we're not doing it as an offering to Krishna, then ultimately it just vanquishes. It does not give you this utmost thing. You can't fully appreciate in that way because all these friends, all these family, everyone you know, after this life, gone, death. You don't get to enjoy them for all of eternity until you go back to Goloka Vrindavan. So why stay? Krishna has everything for you and wants you back so badly because he loves you so badly. He's given us such amazing processes and he's come down so many times teaching this same thing over and over. Just come to me. This is not your home. Come to me. Surrender unto me. Love me. I'm the object of love. Another Another verse along the lines of this name of Hari, he who takes away, comes from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1 to 239. My dear friend, if you are indeed attached to your worldly friends, do not look at the smiling face of Lord Govinda as he stands on the bank of the Yamuna at Geshigata. Casting sidelong glances, he places his flute on his lips, which seem like newly blossomed twigs. His transcendental body, bending in 3 places, appears very bright in the moonlight. So he'll steal your mind, so much so that you won't be attracted to anything here in this material world. So you're given the warning. If you really want to enjoy this material world, do not go try to see God, do not try to see Krishna, because he'll steal your heart, he'll steal your mind, and he'll be such a huge focus for you that nothing else matters as much. Although I'm not so qualified to go into depth on this topic, what I could say is a good example of this is the gopis. The gopis, they may be in the middle of feeding their families or their babies. They may be in the middle of so many household duties or anything with their husband, whatever. But as soon as Krishna blows his flute, they're gone. They'll leave everything behind. Whatever they're doing, they leave because they understand their position. They're Krishna's before anybody else's. They're only Krishna's, and Krishna's ours. So we try to satisfy him. The only reason that one should go to demigods is to ask for spiritual things, blessings to help us in our service to Krishna. So, an example of this in the Nectar Devotion is explained that in the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that Ganapati worships the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimhadev, and in that way has become auspicious for the devotees in clearing out all impediments. So commonly, before worshipping the Lord, according to Nectar Devotion, devotees would worship Ganapati, Ganesha. That way he may remove all their impediments in devotional service so that they may be able to perform it nicely for Krishna. But the important part that I had just mentioned is that he only gets this power from Nrsimhadev, from Krishna. These demigods have no power besides that which Krishna has given them. So we should not be after demigods for anything unless we're just asking for their blessings and their help to help us in our Krishna consciousness. Only reason. Otherwise, you're fooling yourselves. You're playing yourselves. Do not do that. Krishna is the one from which everything comes. And he is the one that's given the strength of man, the intelligence of man, and so much more. The abilities to do anything. Because everything is bland without Krishna. We're like just a plain soup or something without any spices. But Krishna adds that spice. He gives us that flavor. We can't do anything on our own. We have the independence to choose what we want, but we don't have the strength to do it on our own. We can choose, but only Krishna can give us the power and ability to do anything and allow for this to happen. So, what is this process of surrendering unto Krishna? We've been talking about not surrendering to the demigods and that Krishna is the one and he'll still our hearts and minds. What is this process by which we can come to the stage of pure, loving, transcendental service? and ditch all these other processes of wanting these material attachments and all that. Even if one has all material attachments, one should still come to Krishna. Because Krishna could fulfill anything. Why go to the demigods when Krishna is the one that is allowing the demigods to give you such benedictions? So we should attain to this service. And what is this way? Well, it's Age of Kali. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Iva Kavalam Kalao, Nastiva, 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 Gatiranyatha. There's no other means in this age of chronopoxy, of deliverance, other than the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. There's no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way. So we've been gifted this great Maha Mantra full of the sweetest names that not only purify our heart and help us realize who we are, but it reawakens our forgotten love and our forgotten occupational position, our swarupa in the spiritual world, our original form in the spiritual world, and that service under God, under Krishna. And what is this Mahamantra? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In other ages, there's so many things that people were told to do, to be able to attain God realization, self-realization. But in this age of Kali, we live maybe 100 years if we're lucky. Most people don't even make it to that. But we've been given the easiest process of 16 names, 32 syllables, that we could chant at any time, at any place, doing anything. It is so simple. So why not take this up? By doing this, one will reawaken that love for God, that love for Krishna. And Krishna, he'll reveal himself to you. He'll show you, here I am, and here I've been waiting with open arms. Lifetime after lifetime, I've been dancing around thinking this is going to be the lifetime you come to me. This will be it. But then I fooled myself because you still didn't come to me. Maybe this lifetime you will. Just take this process and he'll reveal himself to you. He's so eager to be like, I'm right here. I've been here this whole time. Don't forget about me. So take this process of chanting Hare Krishna. Be happy. This is the process. This is the way that's been since time immemorial, and it's been passed down through this parampara, this disciplic succession, so nicely, so that we may be able to have pure, transcendental, loving service to God and full realization of God, of Krishna, as well as ourselves. Because the thing about being in the light is you also are able to see yourself. Without the light, you can't see anything around you or yourself. You're just there. Anyways, I think this is a good spot to ask for any questions or comments. Yeah, any questions or comments? There's a little.
I appreciate your concluding point. I was listening to a lecture by Prabhupada yesterday, where he said, Krishna removes the desire for material enjoyment from the devotee who's properly heard and chanted his messages. So Prabhupada was making the point, similar to what you were making, that if one is hearing, Krishna says, "Oh, you were hearing about me. I will help you. I will help this person." And he says, so Krishna is very eager to actually help the conditioned souls especially when they're hearing his messages.
Yeah, thank you for adding that. That's so sweet. Anybody else? Get down a soda.
Yeah, you said that people who know the goodness worship Vishnu. People who know the
Oh, I should have corrected. Those in the mode of goodness worship them.
goodness worship demigods, those in the mode of passion, ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. Rita, it says that people in the mode of goodness worship Vishnu. People in the mode of mixed goodness and passion worship Ganesh. People in the mode of mixed passion and ignorance worship Durga. People in the mode of ignorance worship Lord Shiva.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for adding that early.
What was the last two?
People in the mode of mixed passion and ignorance worship Durga. People in the mode of pure ignorance worship Lord Shiva.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you for elaborating on that. That's even better. All right, and in the Buddhist,
What was the Bhakti-rasam? All right, Bo, thanks for your wonderful class.
thank you.
What was the quote that you quoted from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, where, you know, if you want to stay attached to the material energy, don't look at Lord Govinda. Could you say that again?
Yeah, you want the verse, or do you want me to like just repeat it, or both?
Both.
Okay, so you can find this in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 5:224, but it comes from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. But it said, "My dear friend, if you are indeed attached to your worldly friends, do not look at the smiling face of Lord Govinda as he stands on the bank of the Yamuna at Geshigata. Casting sidelong glances, he places his flute to his lips, which seem like newly blossomed twigs. His transcendental body, bending in three places, appears very bright in the moonlight." Alright, anybody else? Alright, I think this is a good place to stop. Thank you all so much for listening. Kantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Prabhupada ki,